Hey everyone, OutcastWriter here with my Day 2 impressions of Fire Emblem Echoes Shadows of Valentia. Now, one thing that you guys may think, Day 2, so this is the second day that he's been doing this, so why is it so long between videos? It's actually not a literal Day 2, it just means the second day that I happened to play this game, and everything that entailed with that, so it's unfortunately, I don't have the schedule free enough where I can just go and play this game every single day. So it's as I get the opportunity to play for it. Fortunately, I've gotten the next few down, so these videos can come out fairly regularly. But yeah, I'm just basically playing this game when I have the chance and the opportunity to do so. But without further ado, let me just talk about where we're picking up off from was I just played the prologue basically uh, on the first day uh, that I had my hands on the game. And so it kind of takes off from when all's all grown up and Lucas, who is a knight with the Deliverance, which is the resistance, and you learn all of that going on. He is visiting to see if he can get Sir Myson. And one thing that really struck me during that time period, after all the conversations had happened, was you get your first chance to roam around in a 3D environment, and it's not, you get a little taste of it when young young Alm is running to Celica, but that's more like the dungeons, this whole, kind of quasi way of you being able to explore a town with, moving your cursor over, kind of like a point and click adventure a little bit, and interacting with things and picking up objects that way. Um, that was really neat. I really enjoyed that. That's something that it's kind of like if a Fire Emblem game in the future doesn't have that, I'm going to be a bit disappointed that that is not there. It really adds a great sense of immersion, which was needed because some of the conversations that still not grabbing me just yet, just seeing pictures on there. So being able to do that and interact with the townsfolk, really building great lore, building a world, makes it a lot more personal than any of the other Fire Emblem games that I have played so far. Let me see. One thing that I did think about in the dialogue, and so far it has been very good, but there was one line, I think it was used by Gray. He literally says, kill slash enslave slash actually, no, that's what he says. It's kill slash enslave. It's like a lot of people don't talk like that nowadays. Definitely people in medieval times or whatever era that they're trying to draw from definitely wouldn't have talked in that way. And yeah, that's kind of immersion breaking a little bit. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's just kind of like, wait, what? So that brought me out of the game. I was a little bit disappointed with that, but so far the dialogue has been pretty good. Let me see. Um, One thing with the beginning, which really surprises me, at least in comparison to say like Awakening and Fates, is that there is a lot of talking going on. We've only had the prologue so far, and there's a lot of talking before the prologue, during the prologue, after the prologue, and now we're finally on to the first chapter, and there's a lot of talking taking place before we get to the first fight. It's not that I disliked it. It was just, hey, that was interesting. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Fire Emblem Echoes being more RPG-y than Awakening and Fates have been. I enjoy it. If this is the route Fire Emblem's going, I like it. That's good. I kind of hope to see lengthier conversations in Fire Emblem Switch whenever that's going to happen. Hopefully next year, as they say. But let me see. Villagers, I kind of already mentioned that. It was really neat to talk with them. It made the place feel way more populated than any other Fire Emblem game, at least in Awakening and Fates has done so far for me. Let me see. One thing that, sorry, I've been having some sinus problems lately. One thing that really surprised me is after we fight the first battle, you get bonus XP at the end of the battle. What? I was not expecting that. That was a complete and total and utter surprise. But yeah, it's kind of nice. Get that bonus XP. Any little bit counts, especially if you're grinding, trying to get that extra stuff, you know, trying to get that another level. It's nice. It's appreciated. So yeah, bonus XP. Cool. I don't know if that's not a feature that they really have to have, but that was kind of a nice feature for them to have. So I kind of hope that it continues. But if it wasn't there, it's no huge loss. So I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm kind of cheating and looking at my notes a little bit. One thing, and I know a lot of people have commented on this, but one thing that I really liked is it feels like the battles are being lived and fought because we have our protagonists, they're running up. And actually the antagonists, the enemies, they're doing that as well. But they're running up, running up in motion as opposed to just like standing in place. They're running up in motion to the enemy and engaging them, attacking them whether they hit or they miss, as opposed to just kind of standing there and, I cast my magic, or I'm just standing and we're taking turns hitting each other with our swords. I could kind of understand you could feel that way with Fates and Awakening. It didn't really strike me at all until Echo showed how cool it could be to show them running into battle. Also, another thing while I'm thinking about it that's really nice is that where they are fighting is actually reflected upon their terrain. And it's not that Fates and Awakening didn't do it, but not to the degree that that Echoes has. So that's also a nice little tidbit. Let me see. Oh, another thing is that I like how the battles have names. Like they say, the second battle, and also probably the dates. They make it feel like it's being pulled from the history pages. So I appreciate that. Being a history nerd just brings that connection that it feels like it's a real place, and I appreciate that. Let me see. One thing, and I know a bunch of people talked about it, but the dungeon crawling, pretty awesome. I don't have too much to comment on it, except maybe I kind of wish there was more stuff you can get from smashing things, but, whatever. The fights are fun, getting the XP is fun, doing the exploring and something a little bit different is fun. It's nice. I can't help but wonder if perhaps there's some aspect of Fire Emblem Heroes, because I know that's coming out later this year. I wonder if that influenced the dungeon crawling at all. However, I know that there was dungeon crawling in the original Fire Emblem Gaiden. So maybe it was a mixture of both. Maybe it was just a unique idea. I don't know. Just can't help but wonder. The real thing I wonder, though, is how much of that is going to show up in the Fire Emblem Switch. And I sincerely hope that is something that shows up in Fire Emblem Switch, because that's a lot of fun. And again, it kind of brings the world to life more. So that's pretty awesome. One thing, oh yeah, one thing in comparison to Awakening and Fates that I have not liked in Echoes is the head guy, the boss, whatever you want to call him, has not been a unique character. It's just he's looked exactly the same. And I can't remember what the battle, it was the battle right before you get to that first dungeon that you can explore. It was like, finally, there's a unique boss that, just adds a little flavor as opposed to a bunch of grunts. And it's not, I do like the change of pace, but I want something more than just, I mean, I understand how it can get a bit tiresome sometimes with Awakening and Fates. It's like, oh, we have to have a boss every single time. But a bit of a balance would be better, So I fought 3 battles and there's only been 1 boss. And who knows, maybe in the future that will even out some more. There'll be more bosses, but right now it's just kind of like, okay, it's just feeling really bland and generic right now a little bit. And leading into that is I kind of feel that I should have set the difficulty to hard. I took this game at normal. Mainly that was based upon kind of feedback I heard from other people saying how it was challenging, and I knew that the formula was different from Awakening and Fates. So I was originally intending to take it as hard, but so far I'm thinking I should have stuck with that. Should have been with hard. It hasn't been too challenging so far. I'm enjoying it, but I like a challenge as well. Let me see. Oh, yes. One nice thing is I like how you can go back because I think in that dungeon you got the ram wine, and there was that old guy who was like, "Oh, I just want one more sip of ram wine. That will just make my life complete." Um, you go back to that place to give him. You go back to Ram to give him the wine, and when you're there, I noticed, whoa, I can talk to some of my party members here. That was pretty awesome, being able to have conversations that weren't, and as up to this point so far, I haven't been able to have any support conversations. So being able to go to this place and have conversations and get to know a character without it inextricably being linked with a relationship to another character, they're just talking to you, or in this case, Alm, they're just talking to Alm, just kind of talking in that setting. It's really nice. It builds the characters more. It gives the characters more personality than they've been afforded to in Awakening and Fates. And it's not so much like the main characters in Awakening and Fates, they always get a lot of play because they're the main characters. They're important. But it allows these characters that aren't so, that they're integral for a specific spot of the story, but not the entire story. It gives them a chance to shine. So I really like that. That's something I would like to see further implemented because they create a lot of great characters for Fire Emblem, but, only some get utilized. And sometimes you kind of have to invent things in your head to kind of make them bigger than they really are. But it's a nice way to just kind of expand and flesh out characters. So yeah, those are my impressions of my second day of gaming in Fire Emblem Echoes. Feel free to leave any comments below on how you're liking this series. Hopefully you are so far. I know it's a little rough. I think I bumped the table a few times. But we're going to get better. We're going to get a little more organized, and I'm not going to be so posy in switching from things. I was just really referencing my notes a lot, and I apologize. It's late. That probably has something to do with it. So, changes to make. Anyways, I am very grateful for watching. This is the OutcastWriter signing off, and remember, what we create matters.